What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here in the Odd Trapper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. What am I even saying? Anyway, we got that Game 1 W there with Kansas City. That felt good. Game 2, they are just putting the gauntlet down. Didn't end up betting it the second time around there because Clase was still in the fold. I didn't agree with the number for what it's worth, plus money on the Kansas City side. We'll talk about that here as they play another iteration of that AL Central series. Lots of other stuff kind of going. I did have a small play. It was only 0.2 units on Jesus Sanchez 2 home runs and posted that on Twitter and on the Discord. So I guess that has to go towards the total in the event that he doesn't hit a homer and then another homer. So it would be 3 for 5 then going forward. Be insane to have it be 4 for 5. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about here on today's program. Of course, we'll start like we always do with Bet365. If you haven't signed up down below, again, Bet365, you bet 5, you get 150 in bet credits. It's a pretty ridiculous deal, if you ask me. Plus, you're going to get 50 spins on the old virtual slot machines over at Bet365. And it's just launched in Pennsylvania. So if you're in Pennsylvania, you're also in any of the other states where it's legal. We're talking Iowa, New Jersey, Virginia, so many different places now. Arizona. Bet365 is available to you. So bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets, as well as 50 spins only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll talk about them quickly here a little bit later in the program. We'll cover the marketplace as well. So fun to see so many friendly faces. Promo code Lindy50 does work. If you haven't tried it out here again, we had a little bit of a bug that was going on this morning, but 50% off first week and month, or either one you want, using code Lindy50. $10 for your first week, 25 for your first month. That is the Daily Picks, the premium Discord where I'm hanging out on the daily, posting stuff like, I don't know, parlayed under strikeouts right at first pitch for Minnesota and Atlanta there. Of course, Bailey Ober gives up 9 runs in the first 2 innings. What a time to be alive. But as I said before, we got a lot to get to. I'll talk a little bit faster because I know we were doing all the jargon here on the front end, but wanted to see you guys in that Discord hanging out with me and want you to check out Bet365. I already did the other stuff. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Look, man, I thought I was going to end up firing really, really hard on this, but let's pump the brakes here for like 2 seconds, purely because we're seeing minus 154 on a pitcher that I don't have a ton of familiarity here with, this Herder fellow on the Detroit side of things. This really has more to do with what we saw from Johnny Cueto, who got so unbelievably lucky in his first outing. Check this out. 95.5 mile per hour average coming off of the bat here. Again, just one start that he's had here. He had 4 starts in AAA in Salt Lake City there with the Angels. He was with the Rangers AAA affiliate earlier in the season, but just 731 expected slugging, 1 strikeout, 3.6% K rate now on the season, like on a start, I suppose, what we should say. What are we even doing here? He got unbelievably lucky, and I think Detroit is interesting, but I'm going to pass here for right now. We have 15 games. I have 3 lean likes on the card. I have not bet any of them, and it's purely because I want to track the line going into tomorrow, because I don't understand how Brant Herder ends up opening with this kind of a number. He's not good in any way, shape, or form at this point in time. Now, he has a great sinker. He has a sweeper. He has a lot of really good expected ERA numbers, but we have, 4 starts on him? He could be really, really good. He's the Tigers' 13th prospect, but the Tigers aren't a very good organization, so it's like being the 13th best. Oh, we're not going to go there. Let's just go Detroit money line is a lean like, and yeah, I'm done talking. The Cubbies and Pittsburgh, I will say, we just got news that his activation on Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, we don't have time to sing, but we definitely have Jared Jones back in our lives. But for how many pitches? That is the question. He had 73 in his last rehab start in AAA Indianapolis. Went through it. You look dominant. You look really good. I think the exact wording from the blurb that I saw was the word dominant. So I apologize if you're like reading over your Jared Jones notes in the morning on, wherever you get your info, the DK page, RotoWire, whatever it is. But anywho, Jared Jones is back in our lives. Here's the thing. We just got news that they are going to trim innings on Paul Skeens. You think they're not going to do it on Jones coming off of an actual injury? Oh, yeah. They're going to be very, very careful with these guys coming down to the end of the season. And why shouldn't they be? As long as they stay intact to some extent, they're going to be competitive next year. You have 2 guys Jones throws at about 100. He needs to figure out some of the other issues going on in his pitching repertoire. But overall, you got to be happy and encouraged if you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, which, you're down 11-2 as I record this right now. So maybe not that inspired, but feel a little inspired. Feel like the Diet Coke of inspired, just 1 calorie, not even enough. As for Justin Steele, you definitely feel inspired. If you're a Cubbies fan with him, you have the last 2 years. He continues to be absolutely nails, but want to get some confirmation if we can get Jones out there for a little bit of time. Also, need to look at this bullpen usage because as it was getting wonky there, I tried to project out each bullpen and couldn't really do it because it was an 11-2 ball game. And as such, we're going to call it an under 8 lean for the time being. I will say, out of any lean on this card, this is the one that I'm the most interested at the current price on the current play. Might be firing this under up. Not going to be firing this one up more than likely. It's Justin Verlander. It's Aaron Nola. And look, we have 162 game season for everybody. Then we have the playoffs, which, by the way, unit tracked everything for the people on this program, fired it up on X. I'm going to be retweeting that out here shortly as we get closer to it in the next month or so. I've got the saved tweet ready to go, but we're going to be doing that yet again. A lot of people had a lot of fun with it last year, and I want to do a little bit of a competition, and we'll get into how that's going to work in my Discord in a month or so when the playoffs start up. But Justin Verlander, Aaron Nola, oh boy, Justin Verlander. Just don't know what to make of him coming back out here. He, was on ESPN talking about how he felt healthy and felt great and yada, 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 and yada, yada, yada. And I backed Houston. How many days in a row? A lot of days in a row, it feels like. Well, Saturday I didn't because I was not betting. I was drinking and golfing. That was fun. But anyway, we're not going to be playing Verlander up against Nola here. We tried to find a little bit of value. It ended up going really extreme towards Blanco, or, the value got away from Blanco. Everybody was backing Wheeler. And I think no matter how that game turns out, it's 2-2 bottom of the 8th. I know Alvarado, he'll be available in this one. I feel good about that bet. Plus 145 when I got it. It was plus 160 at lock, and I don't understand. Alvarez is back. So, yeah, Houston money line, if you absolutely have to have something here, I would be looking at yet again. I think this is just a baseball team that's finding their stride later in the season like they always seem to do. And eventually, is Kyle Tucker going to get back? Eventually? One day? Maybe? Don't know why my voice did that. Sorry. Next game. Yeah, because we got money lines like this on the card. Kansas City and Cleveland and Michael Lorenzen. Tell me, in the year of our Lord, 2024, I'm actually going to back him on the money line? What? Let me take a look at your money line. Michael Lorenzen going up against Gavin Williams. And Gavin Williams, he's shown out. He's definitely had some good stuff. But sometimes a team just owns another team's soul. And Gavin Williams, you got to get to that end of game scenario to actually use Clase. And that's a big part of this. Michael Lorenzen, guys. Michael Lorenzen, 17.8% K rate, 11.1% walk rate. But Kansas City was able to play from ahead a lot of the way. And 9-4, able to utilize some bullpen arms that I don't think they otherwise would have gone to throughout that game. They were able to go Avila, and yeah, they went Heron Smith. So they went to, that was, the Cleveland side of things. But they go Song, and then Daniel Lynch with his 6 ERA, a guy who used to start for Kansas City. They were able to have some no-names eat some innings on a doubleheader. That is very, very important. Must say, and we'll talk about a little bit of something with that, Toronto and Boston, because I think it applies. They moved to Cooper Criswell. That's kind of what applies here. But I think what applies here is Kansas City money line. Sometimes a team just owns your soul. 6 of their last 7, Kansas City is now plucked off of the Cleveland Guardians, and those bats are so quiet. I've been picking on Cleveland a little bit more with left-handed pitching, even though Cole Reagans gets hurt, but it ended up working out for the best. Gotta say, against a righty, it feels worse. But I'm getting plus money to find out. Makes all the sense in all the land. Also makes all the sense in all the land to sign up. 50% off your first week or month in that Insider Odd Shopper marketplace. It is now officially live with tons of great people, tons of great bettors, tons of super sharp people. Very excited for that community to be live down at the link below. But if you sign up for my package, ooh, that sounds nifty, doesn't it? Yeah, 50% off with the promo code Lindy50. So yeah, LINDY50. $9.95 for your first week, $24.95 for your first month if you sign up that way. And then it'll be what? $20, $50 for a month? I don't know. Been paying for it pretty nicely for the home run, peoples. I don't know. We'll see if I get blanked on Monday. I'm sure I'll hear from you. By the way, you shouldn't have bet Stan plus 215. That was just egregious price. Anyway, this is a great price. $10 for your first week, $25 for your first month. Daily picks, premium Discord. That is where I will be hanging out all the live long day tomorrow. Can't wait. back to the picks we go. Mitch Spence on the Oakland side of things. I got to say, there's some conflicting. What was I saying? Conflicting? Whatever, Eric. I'm tired, by the way. Nick Lodolo on the other side of this one. Nearly a 5 ERA this season, 1.20 whip. But I bring it up a lot. I know he's really, really regressed over the last 2 weeks or so. I still like the curveball. But I like Brent Rooker when he's going to be hitting the curveball off of a struggling lefty even more. That's really what it comes down to. And what it all comes down to, Alanis Morissette is... I like her better than Sheryl Crow. It's probably a hot take. I don't know. Oakland Athletics, though, gotta say, Brent Rooker, he is the team. 601 expected slugging, 400 xWOBA. We've seen nice, bright moments from Lawrence Butler. Shane Langoliers has been an awesome hitting catcher, and we backed him pretty successfully at times this season. I think Brent Rooker's just been a star, though, in my eyes, and you're going into a small porch, short porch out there to left and right, everywhere in Cincy. Struggling pitcher who's giving up high, hard contact, and Nick Lodolo. How do we not like this? How do we not like this if it is indeed Lodolo? Have to call it a lean until we get confirmation that it's the lefty Lodolo. But, yeah, Brent Rooker, anything better than plus 290 will be on the card. I don't know what to believe anymore. We're talking about, like, the hottest team in baseball, the New York Yankees. They have Austin Wells and Gleyber Torres doing the dirty damage there. I'm just telling you, 5-1 in that game here heading into the ninth. So cool stuff from the Yankees, just continuing to roll. Nice little portion of your schedule going Colorado to Washington, don't you say? Now taking on Patrick Corbin. And yet I'm not betting this right now because minus 144 on the run line is just a hefty price to pay. I will say, if you had been backing the Yankees on the run line the last week or so, life is probably pretty dandy. But you're not really getting these kind of prices against a gas can like Corbin. And Garrett Cole himself has me worried. He has me worried about a lot of parts of his game. Specifically, again, 3.72 ERA, 1.33 whip, coming off of 2 really solid outings against Cleveland and Detroit, and 5 total hits in those last 2. But we're really not seeing the swing and miss as prevalently in every single matchup. Only 2 against Cleveland. He did have 8 against Detroit, 10 against Texas, but 4 against Toronto, 4 against the Mets. If he's not getting some free outs here with some swing and miss, and Washington doesn't really swing and miss a ton. Obviously, Joey Gallo will, and he's probably going to be in that lineup tomorrow, but I just can't trust this kind of a number. Nearly minus 150 on a run line. Can we get this inside of minus 135? Please? Please? Lean like, if you really, really want it, I want it, but not at this price. We got one more of those coming up, lean likes. Again, dealer's choice on those. This technically grades out as slightly positive EV. I want a little bit better. Because then I have plays like this that just make way more sense. Yariel Rodriguez, who's I think had a pretty decent second half of his MLB season, that's for sure. And then Cooper Criswell, it sounds like, isn't going to get utilized in this second game. And let me just double check because they're in the 9th inning now, and I can do stuff like this here. Yeah, Barrios has gone 7 innings, 6 strikeouts, 6 hits. I mean, he's just been nails for them the last couple. Yeah, they went Kelly, Slayton, Keller, which is, Keller is an absolute innings eater at this point. So there is that. Not Mitch Keller, who didn't exactly pitch great for them today, but didn't matter. They got murdered anyway. He got murdered. Yeah, he did get murdered. Anyway, we're talking Yariel Rodriguez, and that's specifically what I want to be looking at here. Working through his profile, I think there's a number of things that I like. First off, his slider, 4-seamer, curveball, split, sinker. We have a diversified portfolio, which sometimes if you have 5 pitches, you have 0 pitches. That's something to be looking at. But I think they were just kind of looking for something that could have a different amount of horizontal movement off of that slider to the 4-seamer, because the 4-seamer has almost no vertical movement, has almost no horizontal movement. It's very, very flatline. And I think he needed to have a secondary pitch that came along for the ride because, well, this is basically just setting it up for this split finger that he started introducing to lefties, and it's been really effective. Only a 120 batting average against, 26.2% whiff, 15% put away. Look at that, me doing a lot of the deep dive stuff that I do on my own. Sometimes I don't always talk through it, but considering we have the TBA here, and I know it's going to be Cooper Criswell because they just removed him from the start and put him into tomorrow. Wouldn't you know it, we are going to back Toronto on the money line. Didn't expect this one. Obviously, Boston been really good against righties, but as Tristan Cassis getting off of the IL, starting to figure it out. Tyler O'Neill's starting to, trying to figure it out. A lot of the lefties that, they were hurt. they're figuring it out again. Jaron Durant's still good. Rafael Devers is still good. But yeah, Toronto money line. Hopefully they're not good tomorrow. I didn't bet Atlanta. I talked about leaning on Atlanta, and once you know it, they put up 9 runs in 2 innings against Bailey Ober. And J.J. McCarthy from my Minnesota Vikings out for the season. Didn't really like the pick anyway. And the Timberwolves grabbing Rudy Gobert back and knowing that France couldn't even play them on their team in meaningful basketball. Great. And I don't know, the Minnesota Wild just never do anything. Why am I a Minnesota sports fan? Why did my parents have to be from Minnesota? Me growing up right there in South Dakota on the border? Next. And Dylan C. Smiles Michael is coming up here next. And I thought this was going to be a Hulk slam. There are 2 of these that exist on the board. The Dodgers in the very last window of the game, or of the day. And then this one, San Diego money line. Actually, there's technically 3 that I kind of thought the Yankees. But again, the Yankees aren't even a bet for me yet. That is a lean like you can choose your adventure. But for me, I know that Dylan Cease has regressed in some kind of a meaningful way over the last couple 4 people, and they want to tell me Dylan Cease doesn't have it anymore, Eric. And I keep looking through his data, and I kind of disagree. You had a Mets team come in hot. 9 hits off of him, 6 1/3, still 7 strikeouts, still 10 ground balls induced, only 2 earned runs allowed. Wasn't really his fault. He's giving them depth into all of these games, other than one rain-shortened spot against Pittsburgh, 1 inning pitch there. We're talking 100 plus in 3 of his last 4. Yeah, just right off that Pittsburgh spot. 3.43 ERA, 1.05 whip. And you know what? It looks a lot different then? The numbers on the other side of the train here. Guys, Miles Mikolas is still not that dude. And I had some St. Louis people really mad at me, up in arms, as I was breaking down Miles Mikolas the other day because, well, I just wouldn't want him on my baseball team. Yeah. Best outing he had all year against Milwaukee. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 Ks, 12 ground balls. Milwaukee continues to troll me. Milwaukee continues to find ways to just crush me. It is what it is. By far the worst team that I've ever had betting in a baseball season of, 7 years tracking data. Well, 5 years of tracking data, 7 years of betting baseball. Milwaukee. They've owned me this entire year, but Miles Mikolas still has a 5.2 ERA, 1.26 whip, and obviously I don't care about those numbers nearly as much as I care about the underlying stuff that I'm waiting for my lovely spreadsheet to pull up with here. It's trying really hard. Choo-choo. 275 expected batting average, 16.5% K rate, taking on a San Diego team that, I don't know if you noticed it, they're really good against righties. Like, really, really good. We're talking 5th best in baseball, 124 WRC+. The company that they are keeping, Toronto, Arizona, Boston, the Mets, and that's over the course of the last month, by the way. San Diego up there as well. And if you go to 2024 as the entire data range for it, San Diego is 2nd in all of baseball, 117 WRC+. Jackson Merrill probably won himself an NL Rookie of the Year with a walk-off jack there on Sunday. We'll see Monday. They're just putting the gauntlet down on St. Louis here again. We'll see how this one stays, if it stays competitive or not, but Kyle Gibson's getting walked all over. I don't think Miles Mikolas is going to fare a whole hell of a lot better against this lineup. I love it. Not going to lock it, though. San Diego money line here. Just going to like it. Minus 136. Don't want to be giving you guys... Again, if this thing moves to minus 150, you can hit a check. What do we got? 6 games to go, or 60% of the way? I'll get flying here. We've got Heliot Ramos, 2+ bases. Just going to be a lean for me purely because Tobias Myers, he's whatever. Logan Webb, we know the ground ball inducing stuff, but as I brought up before, Milwaukee owns my soul. So am I going to go out of my way to try to go bet on a team that I've obviously had a very, very bad pulse for this season? No. I've made enough money betting on all of the other teams in the land. Well, not all of them. Majority of them feel pretty good about the reads. But this one, we're going to be steering clear of the atmosphere over Milwaukee. But Heliot Ramos, just wanted to give him a special shout out. 47.3% hard hit, 508 expected slugging. A very bright spot here for the San Francisco Giants and Tobias Harris. Dang it, I did it again. Tobias Harris. Tobias Myers. That's who I meant to say. You all know that. But let's cover this one because this is kind of an interesting spot if you ask me. Minus 156. It's kind of a short number. I might actually make that a parlay piece. So again, I hope you listen to the things that I say, purely because it grades out as positive EV in addition to the play that I already made. Just think I might get a little aggressive here, but I want to give Andrew Heaney a shout out because I started incorporating like last 3, last 5, purely because we're getting down to the end of the year and I want to experiment with, some different process, see if there are not trends by any means, but I mean, Andrew Heaney is one of those guys that I know has strikeout stuff that I know can fire it up at any time. And he's somebody that I kind of steer clear because his distribution curve. So basically, you're talking the curve, the thingy, and then standard deviation to 1. So 68, 95, 99.7. You guys don't come for stats classes. You come for picks. All right, fine. Texas on the run line because Andrew Heaney's looking a lot better in the strikeout department, coming off of a great outing against Pittsburgh. Had decent enough stuff against my Twins, 8 strikeouts, 4 to third though, gave up 4 earned. I think Andrew Heaney is on the up and up. Now, it's nearly the end of their season. We'll see. I doubt Texas tries to activate anybody coming down to the wire. Down to the wire. Texas on the run line though. Give me plus money against the White Sox with a surging pitcher. And yes, Garrett Crochet, we already know he's going to be very limited in the White Sox, the worst bullpen in baseball since the All-Star break and under the entire season and under any sample size you want to use. So yeah, Texas on the run line, plus money attached to it, bet it. And if you want to see what else makes my card for tomorrow, especially maybe some of those lean likes, 50% off first week or month using code Lindy50. Again, Lindy50, $10 for your first week, $25 for your first month at the link below at the Odd Shopper Marketplace. The Picks Marketplace is now live. Back to the picks we go. Rodri Munoz and Cal Quantrill. This is the pitcher's duel we were all looking for. Oh my, that's an 11 total. And wouldn't you know it, I'm still kind of interested. We're looking at Colorado. It's like low 80s. Not tons of humidity, but I got to tell you, I'm still feeling really good about backing Rodri Munoz and Cal Quantrill to give up runs. I almost said that as if I was going to say good things about them. I'm not going to say anything good about either of them. We're playing at the most friendly hitters park in baseball, and Rodri Munoz, 387 xwOBA, 538 expected slugging. Cal Quantrill, 341 xwOBA, 17.7% K rate, not getting any swing and miss. And if you're not getting swing and miss against Jesus Sanchez, my boy, hopefully for today, I haven't seen this. He hit a home run yet. I'm not going to check. Jake Berger, Kyle Stowers, those are guys who strike out a lot. If you don't have swing and miss against them, they all have a lot of power in the bat. Miami's starting to surge a little bit, getting out of Miami, always a plus for them. Yeah, over 11. I like it for a small play. Don't go crazy by any means. But I'm done talking. Probably my least favorite game on the entire small. Milwaukee's pretty least favorite. But anyway, Sean Manaea, Eduardo Rodriguez, least favorite. Oh, wait, English hard for Eric. Anyway, Sean Manaea, Eduardo Rodriguez, 2 southpaws on the mound. We are getting close to the September months where you will see Chase Field start to open the roof intermittently, and you got to be paying attention to it because if you can jump on that total early, it plays way smaller when you get that open air from Arizona. Obviously, it's like it'll still be like 90 at night, 95 at night. So there's that. But again, we're close to those months. September, October, it'll start happening. Again, Arizona, they've made that push where they're in wild card contention, and we know with some of those pitchers, Brandon Pfaadt, Zach Gallen, is he ever be back? Merrill Kelly. There are definitely some pieces that I personally like as backs, but this is not going to be the spot. Eduardo Rodriguez, we're still just trying to accumulate sample size on him. It also has a chance of being Brandon Pfaadt. It's not officially listed at any other book besides FanDuel that I've seen Erod, so there's that. Brandon Pfaadt was the guy that I thought it could potentially be as well. So we've got conflicting reports on that as well. Sean Manaea is just not my favorite back in these kind of spots. He's been good for them. 3.5 ERA, 1.17 whip, and 3 earned though in 3 consecutive, just inducing ground balls, getting swing and miss. That's the name of the game for Sean Manaea. But Arizona, even against lefties, yeah, you're going to neutralize Corbin Carroll left on left, but not everybody else. They've got a decent construction at the top of this lineup against lefties. I think it's a pretty fair number. I think it's a pretty fair total, unless that roof were to surprisingly open, which I doubt it will tomorrow. just stay away from this thing. I'll lean towards the Mets purely because of Manaea, but meh, gross. Jeffrey Springs, Logan Gilbert. We're rounding out the program with these last two plays. Yeah, we got two plays coming back to back. Tampa Bay, Seattle. Well, this is technically the third of those lean-like series that I was talking about. It's not a play for me at the moment, but Jeffrey Springs and Logan Gilbert brought it up before that Dodgers game. We wanted to attack him. Now he's back in his home ballpark, and he's not taking on the Dodgers. That's useful. Again, 4 2/3, 6 earned, 8 runs. Not surprising to see teams start to do that. We'll get to that next, of course. But Jeffrey Springs on the other side of this, he's been decent enough because, he was one of the best lefties in baseball a year ago before getting knocked out of that year pretty darn quickly. But nearly a 50% hard hit so far this season. Yeah, 23.8% K rate sounds great in theory. But when you compare that to 43.6% K rate he had through all of 2-3 starts from 2023, or the 26.2% K rate with nearly 2,200 pitches in 2022, it doesn't look as good. And a 4.28 expected ERA, not what you would expect out of the 31-year-old southpaw. The fastball velo, never really going to be there for him. It's hard for me having a soft tosser taking on a Seattle lineup that, sure, they've been less effective here to say the very least lately, but 6.5, I'm going to call it a lean like for now. It's sitting at -120 on the 6.5, which is why I did not end up playing this yet. If it drops to -115, I will definitely be playing this. If it moves to 7, but even money, I will probably play it as well at that number, but more books need to roll this out. And the squarest of the square plays possible, Cole Irvin, Jack Flaherty, pitching mismatch. Look at that. I could say it today. Woo, good job, Eric. You can actually do your job somewhat functionally. All right, cool. Cole Irvin, not very good. 366 xWOBA, 523 expected slugging. As for Flaherty, he's had glimpses in a Dodger uniform. He's also had some putrid outings in a Dodger uniform, 4 earned against Pittsburgh being the main highlight of it. But I think overall, what we saw last time against Seattle and what we saw early in his tenure, it's been all of 4 starts? Faced Oakland. He looked good outside of that first inning where he walked a lot of dudes. He's still only given up 8 earned in those 4 outings. Pretty low variance guy having Jack Flaherty out on the mound there on a day in, day out basis. And there is a +110 at FanDuel right now. I don't know why, but it's at even money at every other book at open. So bet it with a plus sign. There's 2 of those that exist on today's board. You got plus signs in front of them. You're going to be betting these run lines. I'm talking about Texas. I'm talking about the Dodgers. Fire those up. I love this play. That's so square. Let's leave. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for Tuesday. Hopefully you had a good Monday. It looks like it's kind of going so-so here as we're rounding out the evening window of games. But yeah, check out Bet365, only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check out the Odd Shopper Marketplace, promo code Lindy50. We've talked about that plenty. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here, shall we? Thank you, producer Jacob. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Tuesday.